For 3 years, I worked out and still looked like a twig who couldn't even bench a plate. But after making this change, I started putting on muscle at an insane rate and transformed my physique in just 3 months. In my senior year, this was my 3rd year of lifting consistently, yet I still looked like a very skinny kid who just had a little bit of lean muscle and a six-pack. That year, I remember for months on end, every single chest workout, I would just incline barbell bench 95 pounds for about 8 to 10 reps, and I wondered why I wasn't getting any mass or size increases. Just recently, I incline benched 175 for 8 at 145 body weight, something I'm very proud of. And if I knew what I knew now back then, I would easily be in the 200s and have significantly more mass. So, what did I learn? Well, everyone's telling you about progressive overload, but no one's telling you how to do it the right way. See, once I developed a progressive overload system that actually allowed me to consistently make gains no matter how things were going, if I was struggling with this adding, weight, or if I was struggling to add reps, I always had a way to turn right, left, or in the middle and continue making progress no matter what. This is when my physique started to skyrocket because I'm consistently progressive overloading, which is the key factor of muscle growth. So, what is the exact progressive overload system? Well, let's dive right into it. So, I have a 3-tiered system where, let's just take the bench for example. You can start with, let's use simple numbers, 135. So you take 135 and you bench it for, let's say, 12 reps. You start in a rep range of about 10 to 15. This is the highest rep range that you work in, and you try and continue staying in this rep range, just increasing the reps until you get up to 15, then you increase the weight, and then you can go to 145. And you do the same thing from 10 to 15 until you can, and then you can increase once again to 155, repeat the same process. But at some point, you're gonna fatigue and you're not gonna be able to hit past 12, past 11 reps. And at this point, this is when you shift to the second rep range. You can either keep the same weight or actually increase it slightly, but now you work in the 8 to 12 rep range. So you lowered the reps, you kept the same weight or you increased it, and now you start repping it out in this rep range and you try and make as many weight incremental increases as possible. So now you say you're in 155, you get it for 12, you go up to 165, you hit it for 8, you go up to, let's say 12 once again, you get up to 175 now, you bench it for 10 and you're struggling and you can't get past 10. And this is where the last lowering of reps comes in. Now you go to 6 to 8 reps. So you can keep 175 or increase it depending on how you're feeling. And then you go in the 6 to 8 rep range and you continue to once again go from 6 to 8 reps with the same weight until you hit 8, then you up the weight. And you keep doing this, and this allows you to consistently get stronger in all the rep ranges, constantly increasing the weight. And now think about all the progress you've made where you started out benching 135, but now you're benching 185 for 6 to 8 reps. And then once you really fatigue and you're like hitting, you try and go up the next weight and maybe you hit like 4 or 5 and you're like 195, 200, something like that, and you just can't keep going. Now is when you reset. And now you try and discover what is your new 10 to 15 rep range with the weight that you made, because you made all this strength and muscle progress from this progressive overload. So now where it used to be 135, now it might be 165 that you can hit 10 to 15 reps. Maybe you get 10 or 11 reps. Now you're like, okay, this is the new weight, and you start the whole system over again. And the thing is, so many people think that you need all these exercises. I only do 1 to 2 exercises per muscle group. So for chest, for example, I do an incline and I do dips. Incline bench and I do dips to hit both the upper and lower head of the muscle. Shoulders is mostly shoulder press. I do some lateral raises just to make sure I hit the accessories. Back is just pull-ups and bent over barbell rollers. Legs is just RDLs and box squats with a pause. It's so simple. I barely do any exercises, but each exercise is tracked and progressively overloaded. And this, in just the last couple months, has made me so much strength and muscle gain working out every 4th day. So I technically only work out once per week, but it's closer to 2 times per week. That's pretty much what I call it. It's like 2 times per week. I work out, I make sure I come into the gym fully recovered, I hit PRs on almost all, if not all the lifts, And then I come back every single workout stronger, progressively overloading, feeling great, not worn down. My body's not in a continual state of deterioration and trying to just get recovered. It's in a state of continual recovery and growth. It's always recovering and it's growing every single workout and then getting stronger. That is what I'm doing. That's the progressive overload system that's allowed me to make any sort of incremental gains like very, very quickly. The first time I did this was in quarantine. I didn't realize I did it back then, but I did it. It was a very similar way. And when I finally discovered this exact system that I'm telling you now, this is when I started making progress like crazy. I remember getting big 2 years ago at one point, doing a very similar system to this. But every single time I've fallen off this progressive overload scheme and I started just kind of showing up to the gym, picking up a weight, hitting it for like 8 to 10 reps, and then just kind of continuing doing the same thing every single workout. That is when I started losing all my momentum. So this takes us to the last key fact of making this system work, is that you need to choose an exercise and you need to stick with it for months, if not years. That is how long this mindset needs to be. It's not just like you show up, you try this for a little bit. If you stop making progress, you switch exercises or you start doing pump training. No, you need to stick with these exercises and this progressive overload scheme and this system for a long time if you want to make gains like no one's ever seen before, because you will. If you get strong and you get really strong in the hypertrophic rep range, you're going to be bigger than every single one of your friends. You're going to defy your genetics and you're going to make progress that seems like you're on steroids, but you need to stick to this system. So that is how important it is, and this is the type of progress you can make if you actually follow this. And now, without this second element, all your effort will be for nothing. See, during my 3 years that I made no progress, I thought I needed to be in a calorie deficit. I valued having abs. I thought that that was gonna get me girls and that was gonna be attractive, but I still looked like a twig, so it didn't matter. And during this entire time, I was eating in a calorie deficit, barely hitting any of my caloric needs and not allowing myself to be in an anabolic state for muscle growth. And I switched that up in quarantine. That's the first time I progressive overloaded and bulked and ate in a calorie surplus. And that, surprise, surprise, eventually got me the gains that I wanted. It was just so simple the whole time. I just needed to eat more, eat high nutritious quality foods and eat in a calorie surplus. And once I did that, I started making gains very, very quickly. So this takes us to the next point, which is that you need to be eating in alignment with your goals. And if you're skinny like I was, that's for most of you gonna be bulking, lean bulking, eating high nutritious quality foods. Don't eat the junk food, because I've tried that at a later point. I tried eating donuts to dirty bulk, burgers from Burger King and McDonald's, and guess what? I got fat. I looked like I didn't work out at all. It just really ruined my physique. But then at other times, I've bulked, eating high nutritious quality foods, and I started to just get absolutely jacked. So it's important that you eat the right foods and you eat in alignment with your goals. So if you were skinny fat or you're overweight, then this is not gonna be the same for you. You need to actually cut. But for most of you, you're probably skinny like I was and you want to get jacked. So here's gonna be the thing. You can either choose to log all your food in MyFitnessPal, get a weight scale, really track it all out. That is one option. I've done that before and I've learned the caloric value of food and I kind of know the meals that I eat, how many calories they have. So I can now at this phase of my life mentally track without kind of just guesstimate tracking and stay in alignment with my goals. I've done it many times. When I wanted to cut, I've been able to cut without having to track. But if you don't know any of the caloric value of your food, if you're absolutely clueless, you're just like, well, this, I don't even know how much this is. I don't know what protein is. I don't know how many calories it is. You need to start tracking and you need to learn the caloric value of food. So one option, if you don't want to be an autist with it, because I get that some of you guys don't want to track and log all your foods. One thing that you can do, this is something I've done many times throughout the last few years, is I've created all the predetermined meals that I like. So I like eating beef, I like eating salmon, I like eating, I like Banza pasta, chickpea pasta, so just pasta meals. And there are a couple other things, of course. What I did was I created the predetermined meals. So I used the weight scale, I used MyFitnessPal, I created an actual meal, and I said, how many calories does this have on average? How much protein does this have? How many carbs? How much fat? And I kind of just learned. So I know that eating half my pound of 1 pound of ground beef is, roughly 40 to 50 grams of protein. It has about 500-ish calories, and it's something that I eat on a consistent basis. And I have many different meals that I can make out of it. So what I did was I made a bunch of predetermined meals that I call alignment meals. That word alignment I really love. It just means it's getting you towards your goal. So I have a bunch of alignment meals that I can choose from that I know are gonna get me towards my goal. And then I know that some of them have more carbs, some of them have more protein, and I can kind of just pick from those throughout the day. And I kind of just mentally know these are good meals. This one has about this much. And if you want, you can write it out. You can always refer back to MyFitnessPal, but you don't need to track it so much. If you want to track it, go ahead. It's completely up to you. I'm actually at a phase in my life now where I'm tracking, just started recently, just because I really, really need to get dialed and I want to make some insane progress. So if you're really trying to make insane progress, I'd recommend it. But if you're someone who just wants to gain muscle, you just want to be someone who's better than average, you want to be making progress at a quicker rate, you're doing your progressive overload, and you just kind of want to get your diet a bit dialed, you don't have too many issues with, you're not like really fat or anything like that, then yeah, you can do this alignment meal, make it a casual thing, and be working towards your goals with ease. I've done it so many times in my life. I haven't tracked previously for over a year or 2 years now and been completely fine, maintained a great physique, made progress many different ways. But if you want to, you can track to learn the value of food, or you can just use the alignment meal strategy. Those are the two best ways that I would recommend. If you're just kind of winging it though, that is not going to be very conductive of getting you towards your goals. I would recommend choosing one of the two strategies because this is going to make so much of a difference, really making sure that you eat in alignment with what you need. Eating is the most powerful thing behind sleep. It's like sleep, eating, recovery, like actual rest time off from the gym. And those are the things that are gonna really cause you to grow besides the actual workouts themselves. So this is all my advice. And if you wanna get jacked, it's most likely for the reason that you wanna be attractive to girls. So if you want help getting the girl of your dreams in the next 3 months, then book a free coaching call with me down below. We're gonna make you into the ultimate man, a 10 across the board who can attract every single dream girl that you want. If that's of interest, go ahead and book that free coaching call. See you guys on there. Have a great day, everyone.